Hello and good morning, LinkedIn Connections. Cian here from McCarty Analytics. We're back with another video in our series on data-driven decision making, building your first Power BI view. This step is going to be broken up into a series of videos. As you can imagine, there's a lot of steps in the process. If you follow the instructions in the post above, you'll already have Power BI downloaded and you'll have your sample data set too. So here on screen you can see the Power BI icon, and I'm just going to double click that and we're going to wait for Power BI to load. Okay, so now that Power BI has loaded, we're going to come into our first view of the interface with Power BI. There's lots of different options here that we don't need to worry about for today's video. We're going to go straight through and we're going to create a blank report. The purpose of today's video is to just load some data into Power BI and clean it as well, as we're going to see in the next steps. So here we can go to import data from Excel, as we have an Excel file downloaded. You can navigate to wherever your Excel file is saved on your PC and then come down here to open in the bottom right hand corner. So in a moment we'll be presented with a window for navigating through our Excel file, and here we can see any of the tabs that are present in our that, and it's going to show us the information that's present in our Excel file. So now that we see this information and we're happy enough to continue on, we've got two options. One is to load the data directly into Power BI and the other is to transform the data. It's always best practice to go to transform data just to have a look through and make sure that everything has come through as intended. So in this case we've clicked transform data, and it's going to open up the Power Query Editor for Power BI. The Power Query Editor is something some of you might be familiar with if you've worked with Excel in the past. It's the same engine that powers Excel as they're both Microsoft applications. Here we can see all of the information that's present in our Excel file. You can see our first column here and a little icon in the top left hand corner. And this is something that we can click and see that it's picked up the data type as a date. The data types of the columns is going to be very important later on when we're visualizing our data, but that's something that we'll come back to. We're happy with our first column and we move on to our second one, salesperson. Obviously this is going to be a name or a text value for each one, but here in the 8th row we've actually got a number value. This is a good example of noisy data that we're going to go through the process of cleaning now. Even here in the icon in the top left, you can see that Power BI is confused. It thinks it's a text and a number at the same time, but we don't want it to stay that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the data type to text. It's going to standardize all of our column as a text, and then we're going to come to the drop down here and we've got the option to filter our data. We don't want the number value, we're going to click that, it's going to deselect it, and then we'll press OK. And now we can see that we don't have any number values in our column anymore. Now we've cleaned our second column, we can proceed and check the rest. All of the other data types in this case look okay. We can come across, we can see that the numerical values are listed as numerical type, a whole number in this case, which is correct as there's no decimals. We can come to our final value in the data set, which is a return rate, and we can see that that's a decimal number as planned as well. So now that we're happy with all of our information, we can proceed and go to close and apply. We've got three options here. So you can close and not save your changes, apply, keep the Power Query Editor open and save your changes, or you can close and apply, which will bring us back to our first screen. When you close and apply, it's going to apply these steps on the right hand side to your data. So you can see here that we changed our type and then we filtered our rows to get rid of the numerical values in the salesperson column. We want to apply those changes. We're going to go to close and apply. Now Power BI is going to load the data into our desktop application, and we'll go through and just have a look at the information here, show you some of the different views in just a moment. Now that we've loaded our data, we can see it over here on the right hand side. And all of our information is now in Power BI ready to be visualized. That's it for today's video. Please tune in again for the next one where we'll go through building some of our first visuals. And this series will continue until we have a fully functioning Power BI dashboard built. Thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.